So I went to Wikipedia and read the whole plot. Because I was like, what did I miss out on? And then
Why wouldn't you just read the book?
Yeah, I'm gonna read the book. Hello, welcome back.
Hi,
I'm Jay.
I'm TJ,
This is Ozzy.
important member. And this is Not Quite Nerds.
Not quite cool kids
The coolest kids
in the
and not these
world.
people.
And maybe some of them.
Hi guys, welcome
Hi,
back.
how's it going?
We're in episode 3, 3 months into this podcasting journey.
Cute.
Still forget that it's a thing sometimes.
Yes. We're not professional.
Not professional. But thanks for hanging out with us again. This week, we're just going to get into it, talk about some things. It's been a whole month since we've been here, so I feel like a lot has happened this month.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like last month was
I got
pretty...
COVID.
We'll get into that. I feel like this month has been pretty packed in terms of, like, our lives, but also just, like, I feel like this month has had stuff to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, movies have come out.
Yes.
Things have happened in the world.
Yes. Tell me what's happened in your life in the past
In my
month.
life. So I live in a house, my family home, with my sister and my new flatmate friend. Her name's Trina.
Hi, Trina.
She's amazing. She's a tattoo apprentice at the moment. One day I'll get a free tattoo. Thanks.
Thanks, Trina.
Anyway, so she's moved in now. It's our family home, but it's like a flat now. And in winter, we, like, as a family, have always transitioned the house around to fit around our fireplace.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh yeah.
I'll show a video here of what it was like before and then what it's like now. So usually it's like we have a big dining room area and then we have a lounge down the bottom, but because it's like an add-on to the house, it always gets really cold.
Mm-hmm.
So I added a curtain in my house. I put a bracket up on the wall.
Where did you put it?
Like in the gap between the
kitchen
that goes
and
down to the lounge.
To the
So now there's a
sunken
curtain
lounge.
over that
Nice.
And it's like a grey curtain. Got it from Kmart.
Vibes.
Me and my granddad set it up. He just like told me what to do, and I measured it out, drilled some holes. Felt like a real tradie. So I put that in. We have a new table from my flatmate. We bought a lamp. We have all these cool plants. I don't know if I have a video of it.
Your full homemaker vibes.
I know, but like me and Millie have been trying as much as possible to like make it feel good, you know? Because it is a flat, but it's also our family home, and it felt weird. Like,
you're gonna fall.
Good job, Auntie. I don't have videos of it.
Okay.
I do have videos of the curtain.
I thought you were gonna.
Here's a video of
Oh,
my
that is
my
so cute. That works
curtain.
really nice.
And that's where
That feels like a different house.
I know.
Especially with the. Is that the dining area now?
Yeah, so the dining area is like right in front of the kitchen.
That's really cute.
And
That makes
you
sense.
can see it in this video here. It's really nice to be downstairs.
It's all cozy vibes.
We've been trying to not put on the fire because I don't want to waste the wood. And Millie and Trina are so annoyed with me because I'm the only one that knows how to do the fire. So they're like waiting for me to do it. But that's like the biggest change. My grandparents came and stayed with us.
How was the visit?
It was so cute. Took them to the gardens. The gardens are amazing. I always forget how good they are until I'm there. And yeah, that was like the biggest thing that happened this month. Like changing the whole house around, moving the couches up, taking the TV downstairs from my sister's room, and having them stay. Oh, our flatmate has
all
a
of this
cat.
has happened in the last like 2 weeks.
Yeah, like last 2-3 weeks. Our flatmate has another cat, so now we have 3 cats in our house.
And they all look the same.
They all look the same, and I don't know if they like each other, so...
Oh, poor baby.
So we're trying to... I have to do cat research.
Yeah.
To, like, figure it out. Anyway, so that's been my month today. Jay, how has your month been? It's been a roller coaster.
Sorry. Ozzy is staring at something. Ozzy. Hi, come here. What did I do? So we had East. I can't remember what happened after Easter. Oh my god, I can't remember. But the biggest thing that happened is I went to obviously I went to Australia
Mm.
2 weeks ago. Two weekends ago. Yes.
Yeah, damn, that's
And
been ages and no time at all.
ages and no time at all. So I went to Australia
Mm-hmm.
a couple weeks ago, and I did want to tell. I don't think I've told you. Have I told you the saga? Because like
I think
I
you told me
went.
bits,
So
but not
the
none of the
spoiler
big
is
bits.
obviously that you know that I got COVID on the way back.
Mm-hmm.
But did you know all the stuff that happened like at the airport and
I'm gonna say no.
all our flights?
I'm gonna say no.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you. So Australia. So our trip was to get to Oz on Friday.
Mm.
Oh, sorry. We were gonna leave on Friday and then we'll come back on Sunday. We were gonna go for a friend's wedding. So flights on Friday. We leave Auckland. I think our flight was at 9 a.m. I don't have all the numbers correct, but 9 a.m. let's say,
Mm.
which meant that we had to leave Hamilton pretty early because we had packed bags.
Yeah.
So we had to check in. Now, in a series of unfortunate events, and some like questionable decisions. So on Thursday, we went to watch the Dungeons and Dragons movie,
Yes.
which we can chat about in a moment.
Yes,
But we
please.
went to watch the Dungeons and Dragons movie, which was already quite funny because we went. I booked the tickets.
That's right. You guys had to go home and pack.
Yeah. So, but the movie, yeah. After the movie, we had to pack because we hadn't actually packed because I think it was a busy week. Anyway, so we go for the movie.
Mm.
We get to the movie theater and we all meet up. Our whole
That's
D&D,
right.
our whole D&D party go to the movie theater, and I rush to the front because I've got the tickets or their vouchers.
Yeah.
Got the vouchers, but no one's at the front desk.
Mm.
So I go to like the food place, and I'm like, "Hey, I've got vouchers. I just need to get tickets for Dungeons and Dragons." And he's like, "Oh, that movie's been canceled." And I was like, "Excuse me?" He's like, "Yeah, the projector's broken." And I was like, oh my god, it's 8 p.m. What? This is such a downer. So I run back, and it was so funny because in the picture in my head, like I'm walking back over, and you're all walking so
Yeah, like,
excitedly
okay, so
towards me.
how are we gonna get in there?
Yeah,
Who's got
yeah,
what
like
ticket?
who's good? And I walk up to you guys, and I'm like, movie's been canceled. What do
Yeah,
we do?
it was like this,
Yeah.
and I was like,
Did you
"Oh
think I was
gosh, did someone
joking?
die?" No,
Yeah.
no. I was like, I thought you were overreacting about something. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought
yeah.
it was like it's okay, we can just like book another thing
Mhm.
or whatever. But like, didn't really think about the fact that like I didn't really think about at the time why it was cancelled. I was just
Yeah.
like, it's okay.
I don't know.
Like,
Yeah,
you'll
yeah,
be okay.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, it was the projector was broken, and then I
Mm.
was like, oh my gosh, okay, what do we do? And then just as I was telling you guys the news, I remembered that we were also looking at a different theater that the movie started 15 minutes later, but it's like on the other side of town. And I'm
Mm.
like, I'm gonna buy the vouchers on my phone right now, and let's just all drive over, and we'll meet you there. Go, 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 go! And then we all run. So we watched the movie, but now the movie started at 8:45. Well, the premiere was 8:45, which meant we got home like after 11:30 or whatever. Get home, still have to pack. Okay, so now we're packing. I had not started packing, which is I want to say this is not normal for me. Like I usually, it's not like I
You've
pack
done some
super.
stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I don't pack super early, like
You're
a
like, I
week
did
in
this
advance.
washing
Yeah.
specifically for because we're going away.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I know exactly what I want to take in terms of like extra stuff.
Yeah, and then I had like all my electricals, which still had to be charged, so I couldn't like pack them all already in one go. And then I made an itinerary. So then my itinerary said that we had to leave Hamilton, leave our house at 4:40 a.m.
Oh,
Okay, we had to
jeepers.
leave at 4:40 a.m. So then in my thing, I was like, okay, well tonight, if we're packed, we should just pack the car tonight, and then it's one less thing. So then tomorrow we just wake up, get changed, and then leave.
Mm.
I go to bed at 2:20
Oh my gosh.
because I'm like
Horrid.
still packing. I'm still like fiddling, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, whatever. Mitch has already gone to bed. Anyway, I wake up and I'm like, Mitchell's not awake yet. I'm like, oh man, because I went to bed at 2:20 or 2:30. I was like, oh, I kind of was thinking it might be 3 p.m. 3 a.m.
Right.
and I just kind of woke up like
An hour later.
an hour later
Yeah.
or whatever. So I look
Like
at the
out
time.
of like nervous angst that
yeah,
you're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
forget
I don't
the
want to
time or
miss the
whatever.
flight or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
I look at the time and it's 5:40. when I wake up.
I don't know if I want to know the rest of the story.
So I'm gonna try and go through because
No, I'm kidding.
it's 5:40. I jump out of bed and I check Google
What
Maps.
time is your flight?
It's like 9.
But still, Auckland.
So I know that I put buffer on everything,
Uh.
but in my mind, I basically only had like maybe 30 minutes of buffer, to be like appropriate times. And also, it that wasn't to go like, oh, we have to be 3 hours in front. That was like probably within 30 minutes of check-in closing, like
Yeah.
to drop our bags off. Anyway, I very quickly look at Google Maps, and it's like, oh my god, it tells me that we're gonna be here at this time, and that's already super late. And then I'm like, so I'm like, shoot up, and I just go, Mitchell Lee, and he like, what? And I go, it's 5:40, and he like sits up, and then we're running around, and we're like yelling at our Amazon saying like, turn on the lights, like I can't see, and we need to get changed.
That was so that she didn't turn on, by the way.
Yeah. So I, quickly get changed, get it out. And then, so stupid, we get in the car, and Rich is like, oh, frick, we need to get petrol as well. And so I know that he was already thinking, like, oh, we're going to get petrol, like, closer to Auckland, like, when we're already out of Hamilton. And then he goes, and then just to double check, he goes, because I had been driving the car, he's like, when did the light turn on? And I was like, 2 days ago. And he's like, frick, why did you do this? So then we had to stop at a petrol station in Hamilton. So anyway, so from our house, we wake up at 5:40. We get out of the house in 10 minutes. So I'm just like shoving like all my electricals in the whatever, get changed. And then we have to stop at a petrol station. And then now we're on the road. I felt like I was going to be too stressed. Like I knew on one hand, I didn't have enough sleep. But on the other hand, I knew that I would just be too stressed if I was still awake looking at the map and seeing how late we were. So I actually just slept the whole way. I was kind of like waking up throughout and just checking up that Mitch was still all good and stuff. But I'm like, I can't. It's too stressful to look for an hour and a half the possibility that we'd miss our flight. Anyway, so then we get there and we don't have like a parking space booked. So we would have to find a parking lot. And the other thing though is in my schedule, I accounted that we would park and we would, find a park, then we would walk to the airport. Right. But this time, because we're late, I'm like, drop me off with all the bags. You go park and then we'll meet when everything's done. So we did that. I go to the thing, and as soon as I walk in, I was like, oh my gosh, there's so many people. And this is why we needed the buffer time. But then thankfully, like the line was moving. Yeah. Managed to get in and do the thing. So it's like, I think we had like sort of a few minutes to spare. So it was kind of good. So once we got the bag checked, then everything was fine because it was really just wanted to make sure we didn't miss the bag check-in. Yeah. So then that was fine. And then we get to have breakfast and it's fine and we're all chilling. And then we get to our gate and this isn't bad, but it's just like every gate that we were in the flight and on the way back, there was like a, hey, sir, can we just, hey, mister, whatever. And then we're just talking. And everything's like, we're all checked in and everything. And then I just hear them start listing the names. And I'm like, oh, it's the people that, are late to the gate. And then in the middle of conversation, I like slightly clock in and I just hear them say, Mitchell Lee. And I was like, oh my God, they're calling you. It's like, what? And I'm like, go. So he goes up with a couple of the dudes and it's like, oh, it was just something about doing the online check-in. Right. And then it kind of, I think it said that they didn't check in or something. Right, and then it was easy fix. So, okay, that was fine. That's good. I was like, okay, phew. And then we go to board and his ticket gets beeped. And then I go and then it was like, oh my God. On my one. And it was like, oh. And I was like, oh. And then he's like, please go see them, that guy. So I go see the guy, and I'm like, is it because my husband had to come up before? And he's like, oh, no. It was just double swipe. That's fine. You can go. Oh, I was like, gosh. Okay, so we go.
It's just like enough to make you think the worst.
Yeah. It's like, so then we go, and then we're on the flight. That's fine. Then we go Auckland to Sydney. We get to Sydney. Everything's all good. And then from Sydney, we have to fly to Canberra. Right. But we have to go to, we have to take a shuttle to our second flight. So we're waiting at the bus stop, and at this point I have a headache, and I'm like, okay, I don't know where the bus is, and I want to go check, but my head hurts, you know,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
this. And then I'm like, I need some water, but I don't want to buy water and like have to get rid of it. Anyway, it's all this thing. Eventually, I have to go walk around trying to. There's a vending machine close by, but they don't take PayWave. So then I have to get money. So then I go get money, and then the vending machine doesn't take money because it only does a certain card. And I'm like, oh my god, I just want to
So
lie
annoying.
down. And then I go to buy. I finally have money, and I'm gonna go buy water. And then Mitchell goes, Jay, the bus is here. So I didn't get water. So we run out to catch the bus.
Mm.
And then we go to the bus, and the bus lady's like, what flight? And then we say, what flight? And she's like, oh, no, we don't do that on this bus. And I was like, I just want
Just give me a break.
Yeah, and then Mitchell says, no, on the website, it literally says, take this bus. Anyway, so then I get my water. And then because it was within the time, we managed to go to the gate. And then that's fine. We're on the bus.
We're on the bus.
And then we make it to our place. And I don't think anything else happens. If anything else happens, I'm going to tell you. So we get to the accommodation and it's fine. And then we start walking around the city, and that was great. And then the wedding was beautiful. So then the next day we go to the wedding. We had friends also coming from New Zealand who were already there, like, you know, a few days earlier.
Made a holiday.
Basically all of the bridesmaids were from New Zealand.
Cute.
And then they had like the hens do the night before and everything. And it was like a small wedding, super cute. And then, so on the day of the wedding, is obviously the day before our flight out. So 24 hours before your flight, the check-in opens. So I'm like, okay, I need to just check in. But by the time I knew that the time that the check-in would open is, sorry, check-in opens basically when the wedding starts. So I was like, obviously I can't check in at the time. So just like later on at maybe like at dinner time. So I set an alarm saying, hey, check in for your flight, whatever. And then I was also like, there was no reception there, so I couldn't have checked in anyway.
Right.
So didn't check in. And then because we were taken there on a bus, we had to wait for the bus. So that was like 11:30. Basically, didn't get back to our accommodation till like after midnight.
Right.
At that point, you just want to sleep.
Yeah.
So you sleep. And then in the morning, you wake up and you're packing and everything's ready to go. And I was like, oh, by the way, have we checked in? And Mitchell says, no, I haven't checked in. I'm going to do that now. And then he goes to check in. And he's like, whoa, can you see the flights on your phone? I'm like, I saw it yesterday. Like, I don't know why it wouldn't. Like, it definitely exists. So then I look at my phone, no flights. Mitchell's phone, no flights. No flight out and no flight to Auckland. And I'm like, holy cannolis. And
no.
so then we're like on the phone. So he goes on the phone, and they put you on the automated thingy thing. So you have to say like, hello, please say what your something is. And then so he's like, find my booking, and then to book a flight. So he did it a couple times, and it's always like to book a flight, and we couldn't. And I don't think anyway.
They not do like press.
No, they don't. You
I
have to
hate
say.
that.
I know it's all like it's all like voice
Is that
recognition.
in
Air New Zealand.
New Zealand? So then it should even. I was thinking maybe it's like something to do with our accent.
Yeah.
It's
No,
like
it should be.
not
And then
registering that?
he's like, okay, we definitely have the flight. So he's going through his emails, and then there's a confirmation email. So it's a confirmation email, but because our flight is like domestic first and then international, there's like a portion of the flight is in the email, but like to see the rest of it, you have to click the button. But when you click the button, it takes you to the app, and then there's no details. So it's like, what? And then, so we call our friend who is one of the bridesmaids, and she is on the same flight, same 2 flights as us.
Right.
So we call her, and we're like, hey, how are you going? Where are you? And she's like, I'm about like 20 minutes away from the airport. We are probably 40 minutes away from the airport. She's like, I'm 20 minutes away. We're just hanging out at IKEA, and I'm just gonna head over after.
I'm exhausted and
I
I've
know,
done
I know.
nothing.
So I'm gonna just head over. Anyway, and I'm like, you should ask her if she's checked in, because I was thinking maybe because we hadn't checked in, we were too late. But I'm like, it shouldn't be too late. So she's like, no, I haven't checked in. So we're like, okay, check your app. Because we can't see the flight. She looks at her app. She can't see the flight. And I'm like, on one hand,
Okay,
I'm
at
so
least
glad.
it's not a you thing though.
Yeah. It's not an us thing.
like-
It's not like.
At least it's not because I did something wrong.
yeah.
Something else is going
And
on
I'm
here.
like, Amanda is like has her life together, and it's like if something like this happens, it's not because like she did something wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, cool. And she's like, well, I'm just gonna head to the airport now. I'm gonna figure it out. So like, cool, we're gonna leave. And so even though we had like sort of an hour to kill, we're like, let's just get to the airport. So we go to the airport, get the Uber, go there, easy peasy. And then as we walk in, the giant board with all the flight information and like the top two. I wasn't even sure if it was ours, but immediately like you walk in and it was like, so we're in Canberra and it says Canberra to Sydney, cancelled.
Like, surely they tell you that.
I know.
Surely that comes up on the app. This flight has been cancelled.
It just disappeared. So we're like, okay. And then we see Amanda. She's there. She's lined up. And she's like, oh, they've had to put me on different flights. So we go up, line up to them. And then we're like, same thing as her, please. So they sorted out.
Another round, bartender.
Yeah. Thank you, bartender. So they put us on the same flight as her. And now we're at the airport super early. And I think it leaves an hour later or 30 minutes later. So anyway, we're just hanging about. And then I had, so we're there. And we go. And we're sitting at the gate. Like, we're just chilling. Just literally waiting for boarding. We're not, like, at the cafe.
Yeah.
No, we sat at the cafe. But then we were at the gate super early. Anyway, so we board. And we go up. Deet. And then it's fine. Deet. Sorry, sir. Can you just come here to the side,
Oh
please?
my God.
So Mitch goes to the side, and then we see we're not even seated together. It's like
I need a nap after this
I
story.
think, was it a 3-hour flight? No. Maybe it's a 2-hour flight. 3? Something. Anyway, we're not seated together. And I was like, oh my goodness. And then they're like having trouble with his what's it called? Boarding pass. And then it's like too hectic to ask, hey, can we just sit together? So anyway, we go in and I'm like, oh, let's just see if they will, like, if I'm by myself, then we sit.
we can-
And as we're walking in, it's like, it is a full flight, so please find your seat and da-da-da. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Anyway, but the lucky thing is he's just like basically in front of me across. And
Right.
he had like some food and some up and go. So I just like tap him and ask for my food.
Please, for my stuff.
Like, give me some food. And then that was fine. He just watched the movie. I read a book, whatever.
What'd you read?
Everyone in my family has killed someone.
Okay, put that on the list for
Okay,
telling me about it later.
Next episode. So we're in the flight, and then that's fine. We land. Now we're landing in Brisbane instead of Sydney. It's completely new. We're not in Air New Zealand anymore. It's all Qantas.
All the way back to New Zealand.
All the way back to New Zealand.
Wild.
So then Mitch was like, oh, what does that mean for, like, who gets our money? Like, what happens to the booking? And we paid for, like, the works or whatever, and you get food, and you can like, buy stuff off the menu. Anyway, so we get to the airport, and then we're like, okay, we're just going to go straight to the gate. Easy peasy. So then we're sitting there, and we sit there for a while, like
an hour?
maybe an hour.
Right.
This is now international.
Yeah.
And... Oh, actually, the other thing is, on the way in, when we landed, this wasn't really like a super problem because it happened to everyone. But like when we landed in Sydney, it smelled like pee. Like the airport smelled like pee.
Like
No, you know what it is?
like
It's
cat
like
pee?
it
Or like
smelled like
human pee?
public toilet dried pee. Like
Oh!
when you go into public toilets, it's not like the floor is wet, but it just smells like a toilet.
Yeah.
Um,
Gross.
And as soon as we arrive, we're like, oh my gosh, it smells like pee. And then when we arrive to the Brisbane, but the Canberra airport, super bougie, like super fresh. And then we go to the Brisbane airport, also kind of smelled like, it just smelled like dried something. And then what we've realized since, I was talking to my friend, and she was like, so this is a side story, but she goes, oh my gosh, I have a theory of what the pee thing is. Because she just went swimming with the kids. So the kids went to swimming lessons. She came home and she's like, oh my gosh, did the kids pee on me? Well, like, why do I smell like pee? And she realized that sometimes the cleaning, like she reckons it's something to do with like the chemicals in the pool, but it made her think that the airport cleaning products probably contain a certain thing that smells like
pee
it.
to us.
Well, half smells like pee, but also now you associate it with toilets. So it's actually the cleaning product.
It's actually a cleaning product.
And it maybe doesn't smell like pee or contains something that kind of smells
because
like
it's
pee.
always associated with pee smell.
Pee smell, yeah. So it's like, it's actually really clean.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, No, I don't want to talk about
Okay.
that.
So anyway, so we get to the thing. Oh no, we have heaps of time. So I'm like, we're not sitting at the gate. We're sitting at like like the restaurant area,
Mm.
and I was I was playing like mobile games. I'm like charging my headphones.
Cute.
Oh,
What were we
oh my gosh,
playing?
that's the other thing. Is on the airport where Mitch and I are. On the flight that Mitch and I are sitting together. I have my headphones on. I'm listening to the podcast.
Mm.
My freaking noise canceling headphones dies. I charged it through the night and it didn't charge. So then it goes. I put it on the flight 3 hours and it's like
Man, Jay's been going through it.
10% charged now. And I'm like, oh my gosh! And obviously it's like I'm spoiled now. Like I need noise canceling headphones. So anyway.
Yeah.
So I found a spot, charged my thing, charged my laptop, charged my everything, and it's charging, and I'm playing mobile games. And then eventually we go to the gate. We're going to the gate. So we had heaps of time in between getting there in the flight. We go in, and then we're lining up, and I'm like, oh, finally we're sitting together. So great. Let's just double check. Cool, we're sitting together. Do. And then they beep my. Basically, they beep me.
I'm looking at you because I'm already angry.
They beep me. Then they beep Mitchell, and they say, "Oh, sorry, sir. Please stand to the side."
Get away from me!
I know. I'm like.
What was
oh,
it
no.
this time?
I don't know. Oh no, it was him first. Sorry, sir. Please stand to the side. And I was like, oh, sorry. It's because our flights were rebooked. And she's like, oh no, your one's okay, but you can stand with him if you want. And I'm like, yeah, I'll stand with my husband. So we had to go, and then another guy had to look after us. And so. And I was looking at his thing. So I was like on the computer. I could see his name, and then he would do something, and then he would check. So I'd scan the boarding pass.
Is this the same thing that happened on getting on the first one?
No, the first one was it was just double beeped. So then it was
yeah, right. So it was actually an accident.
Yeah,
Sorry,
it was an
keep going.
accident. Anyway, this one. So then I was looking, and it literally said every time he scanned Mitchell's boarding pass, it said "Do not board." I was like this little guy like this, "Do not board," and then he would go scan, "Do not board." I was like, oh my freaking God. I said to Mitchell, Mitch, if you can't board, I won't take the flight as well. He's like, wow, thank you. Thanks for that.
It's like, just, I'm here with you in
Like,
solidarity. It's like, actually, you should just be here because you're my wife.
So he does it a few times. Like, we're probably sitting there like,
oh my God, sorry, bye. Just leave.
Oh no, the flight's leaving.
Oh my God, you can't board. See you in New Zealand when you get here. Bye.
And I was just like, no, I just meant like, because the bags are already in the flight, obviously.
Right.
So I'm like, we'll just ask Amanda to grab it for us, and I'll stay with you. I'm willing to do this sacrifice. So we're standing there for a while, and then eventually he's like, "Doot." And then the guy has to call someone. He's like, oh yeah, Mitchell Lee, something. Doot. He's going on for ages. And then the printer next to him is going crazy. It's printing like 5 pages per second. It's like, like all this stuff. Anyway, eventually he goes, beep, boarding.
I feel like there should be levels to him getting it back for all of the times that it said no.
I know.
It's like it feels too incomplete.
Yeah, it's like no boarding. And then
I need
boarding.
like a party to happen. I need confetti to come out.
Confetti. So then we board, sit in our seats, and then it was fine. And then we get to. So then we're on the flight.
I know how the story ends. So
I know.
It's just, it's just pain all the way through.
So then it was great, okay? And then we land in oh no. Okay, so this is just a small step back. So in the airport where we initially like found out that our flight was canceled, while we're sitting at the airport, we find out that someone who was at the wedding, someone who was at the hens do. So one of the New Zealand crew who was at the hens do, who wasn't at the wedding, obviously came to Australia for the wedding, was at the hospital because she was really sick. And then they also found out that she has COVID. So I was like, oh, snap. And then it was like, yeah, and, we were doing karaoke the day before. So then we're just talking about them like, oh, snap. Okay, cool. And then how are people feeling? Oh, like some of the bridesmaids are like not feeling too flash. And then basically by the time we land in Auckland now, our friends are messaging us saying, I don't feel too good. And we're like, okay, we're going to test when we get to Hamilton. So, when we get to Hamilton, it's super late. Like, we get home at like midnight. So obviously, land in Auckland.
Home here or home in Auckland?
I think Auckland, our flight lands at like 11:30. Right. So, yeah, we don't get to Hamilton until like
an hour
1.
drive home.
So we go to bed, and then Mitchell goes to work. And well, when we actually, because we were already hearing talks of COVID stuff, when you land in New Zealand, there's all these rat tests that you can grab. So we grabbed a rat test each, and
Why are they
and
called rat tests?
rapid action.
Oh, rap
No, rapid action. Hold on, rat test, rapid action test.
test.
Test. I don't know actually what the T is.
Testicle test.
Probably a T. So anyway, Monday comes around.
Mm-hmm.
We're both feeling okay, and I'm like, let's just test it. And then I'm like, I want to go see my little niece, so I'm gonna go see her. But before I go see her, I'm gonna test
Oh,
first.
right.
So I
Thank the Lord.
tested, and I was negative.
I want to go see my little niece, and I probably have COVID, so I'll test after I go and see.
Yeah. And then I won't say anything. And then Mitchell tests, and it's fine. He's fine. So I'll go see my niece. I hang out with like her and my sister.
Oh, your test was fine.
My test said negative.
Yeah.
All good, and we were feeling fine as well.
Yeah.
Oh, and also when we woke up that morning, Mitchell said that our friend Amanda, who was on the same flight as us, had tested positive. So and she didn't have symptoms. She was like, I'll just test because of my work. I'll just double check, and it was positive. So we're like, okay, we should definitely test, and then I'm gonna go see the baby. Oh, fine. And then and it was fine. Next day I wake up, I don't feel good. I'm like, let me test.
Again.
Yeah, and Mitch was fine. So he went to work super early, and then I was like, oh, I don't feel good. Let me just test. I test, and it's like, check the result in 15 minutes. Probably within a minute, I look at it, and as the liquid goes past, it's like, bonk.
I'm just getting seated, even though the story's almost over.
Yeah, so I got COVID. And then I got COVID, and I had to isolate for 7 days. And Mitchell, so I slept in our bedroom that whole time. Mitchell slept in the spare room, and then he would, looked after me, would bring me food, and he would only come through the bedroom to like get his clothes, and then the rest of the time, whenever he like at the end of the workday, he'd catch up with me, but he's standing in the hallway and whatever. And obviously, I needed the kitchen, so I would come out and wear a mask. My parents dropped off, and then obviously we're living with Rob and Zoe, so I'm like, guys, you need to test every day to make sure. And I'm not hanging out with them, whatever. And then probably halfway through, Zoe gets COVID as well.
And from my perspective, it's just delayed D&D sessions.
I know, we were all like so excited.
We had planned to do it earlier or something.
It was gonna be.
And we had already been moving it around because the last couple Fridays, like I was away for Easter,
and then we went to
Australia. And then you guys went to Australia, so we'd be moving it to Tuesdays. And I also feel like
we pushed it back so many times.
I think it needs to be moved to Tuesday next week too, but we'll talk about that
later.
No. And then it's like we're gonna do this Friday. Oh no, Jay's sick. Oh, let's do next Tuesday because it's a public holiday. No, Zoe's sick.
Yeah.
And then we were supposed to schedule for that Friday, but I'm at grandparents, and I was just like, if my grandparents get sick,
it's not.
And my granddad's been in and out of hospital. My nan had a concussion.
Like, oh my gosh.
I can't risk it. And I was like, guys, I think we have to move it to next Tuesday. So we did 2 weeks without it.
Yeah, we did. And then we had to do like a shorter session, sort of. Anyway.
Oh, wait, no, that's incorrect. We did 1 week without it because the Tuesday was the week before you left.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Tuesday before you guys left.
But we tried to schedule it so many times. We tried
so hard.
And yeah, and I mean, you didn't ask me how I was, but I was fine.
I did ask you.
Okay, you did. I know.
I literally called you.
No, it was and
Is she alive?
To anyone who's curious, it wasn't for me. This is my second time getting COVID. It wasn't as bad. It just felt like a cold.
Are you 3, 2, and a booster?
I didn't get my booster.
Neither did I.
I just never got around to it. But
well, yeah, and then like no one was getting it anymore, and I was like,
it wasn't really.
I didn't go anywhere. To clarify, I didn't go anywhere. I just was at home all the time, so I felt like getting a booster felt a little bit like
OTT. Yeah. So symptoms wise, it was just like congestion and a little bit of cough that developed towards the end, but then disappeared pretty quickly.
And just groggy.
And then like kind of just tired. But the first time I got COVID, it was like body aches, chills, like whatever. It wasn't as bad as that.
Yeah.
And then I was good after probably about 10 days. I was good. So
it's funny how it gets more infectious and like spreads faster, but it also like I don't know if it's because we understand it better now, and so we're able to treat it better now, or if it's just like the strain has gotten weaker and weaker.
Can I say though, that could be a thing. But also another guy is like, guys, the pandemic isn't over. There's another strain of COVID that's going around, and it's like he was basically like was so congested and stuff in his face, basically on his face. He couldn't open his eyes for 3 days. I don't. I only and then he's like, the doctors had to take this stuff out of my eyes, and he literally like went like this, and it's like
No. I refuse it. In Jesus' name, everybody said
amen.
amen. Thank you.
Okay. So anyway, that's my month.
I went to the gardens with my grandparents.
So much more wholesome and less
I
stressful.
moved my lounge around. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm glad you didn't tell me the story so that I could hear it all in one go.
Yeah.
But I also feel like I have experienced the trauma because I felt it back to back.
I'm like, maybe I should never go back to Australia.
It's cursed.
It's so stressful.
It's cursed for you.
Yeah, but I mean,
Wow.
for me, I mean, obviously, when we were there and like experiencing Canberra and being there for the wedding and hanging out with the friends, like that was
Just
super fun.
So good.
And like, it's kind of cheesy, but sort of throughout it, I was like, I'm so glad that I'm going through all this with Mitchell.
Yeah.
Like,
If you were alone, that would have been like.
it's just so good to have.
Imagine
like,
if you had the body
another
aches
break.
on the plane.
And what?
Imagine if you had the body aches on the plane.
Yeah.
Okay, quick story. That's similarly in line.
Yeah.
We went to go see my grandparents and family in Palmerston North, and we go to my auntie's house. It's the last day we're there. We're leaving in the morning. We've been staying with my grandparents, and my sister's not been feeling great all day, but it's kind of been like whatever. Anyway, we go to the house to see my auntie for dinner, and then Millie's like, I just feel like I just feel like crap. It's like so annoying. And then my auntie's like, just take the test. Like, it'll just like, at least take it off your mind that you have COVID. Yeah. Takes the test. She has COVID. It's like such a horrible moment when you're in a different city.
Yeah.
And Palmerston North is like an 8-hour drive from Hamilton. And we can't, yeah, it's like 8 hours, like that's including stops.
Yeah.
So anyway, but it was just like the most horrible experience because we couldn't go back to my grandparents. My auntie was like, I'm not getting sick because I have like three boys that all go to high school, all go to school. Yeah. And like, so like, you need to go pick your stuff up from our grandparents. And my nan's like, hi, like trying to get in my face. I'm like, stand away, woman, go away. And she's like, it's fine, I'll be fine. And I'm like, go away. Anyway, she like comes, they give us the stuff, we get in the car. We end up staying at a motel. It was okay. We made sure it was okay. Everything was fine. Millie is like going through it. Aww. She has to wake up the next day, fully has COVID now, like fully like knows it, but also is feeling it. Has to then get in the car because I can't drive. Gets in the car and drives us 8 hours home.
Oh, poor baby.
And then we had to isolate from my parents. So like the upstairs was me and my sister.
Yeah.
We like my parents, by the time we got home, had made like a kitchen set up and everything. It was just like that part of the nowhere near as horrific as your lead up of experiences. But it was just like the bomb of it happening and being in a different city. Like it wasn't like I have the convenience of my own home. It was like being with my sister. And I didn't get COVID from the car.
Oh,
I didn't get COVID for another week. So by the time Millie was finally finishing COVID, I got COVID.
Yeah.
And so it was just like this horrible, awful experience that I just feel so sorry for COVID because it actually wipes you out. It's not like a cold where it's like, I'm stuffy, I'm sick.
And you have to isolate.
I take a couple of days of sleeping. Yeah. So sorry. Sorry everybody
COVID.
that's had COVID.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jay, for
it's okay.
Progressive bad experiences.
I'm kind of glad though that like I mean obviously sucks that Zoe like got it despite us not really like I didn't really hang out in in any of the shared spaces for too long and I didn't cook and no I did cook anyway but she got sick and then her husband didn't get sick and Mitchell didn't get sick either so it's like I'm glad the whole household didn't get sick. But it was also kind of wild.
Wild that he didn't get sick.
Yeah.
And also that he didn't test positive.
Yeah.
Because obviously you can have the thing but not have the symptoms.
Yeah. Because
But
they
he
were
didn't get that.
testing. We had because I got my mom to bring me some tests, so she brought me a couple boxes of like packs, and yeah, the guys were testing, and they they didn't get it at all, which was really good.
That's wild, man.
Is there anything else you want to tell me? While
I
we
wanted
have
to
the
go
microphone.
back to the start of the story
What
and
story?
talk about Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh yes, the
Because
movie.
we went and watched the movie
Mm-hmm.
as Dungeons and Dragons
Pause.
players.
Have you guys watched the movie?
Oh, I thought that was a me pause, not
No,
a
no.
them pause.
Only pause. Pause. No, yeah. Did you watch the movie? Please tell us in the comments if you liked it or if you're planning to watch it because it was super fun. Go, tell me your thoughts.
I just wanted to say I thought it was a great movie. Expectations were met.
This is
I
us
think I
as
could've-
like casual, like semi-casual / regular D&D players, but we're not like
I
hundy
don't
nerds.
know if we can really say that because
No, because we play regularly.
yeah, no, but I'm saying I feel like we're over casual. I'm saying
No, I mean like it's not like we know all of the lore of the actual D&D
yeah.
universe. Yeah. Like
Because we
in our
also
home game, we only just started interacting with like
stuff
different
from
planes.
like actual world stuff.
yeah.
I think it's funny
what I mean.
because it's funny because I know that there's like lore from the games, but because what we consume in terms of the type of D&D media that we consume, it has nothing to do with actual D&D property because we watched
Exactly.
Dimension 20.
Exactly,
So
yeah.
it's like
It's
I
all
don't really
homebrew.
understand anything about it. I mean, I don't know if there maybe there is. I don't know. Do people stream like official campaigns? Like what is it, modules?
Modules.
Like surely they do, but I think anyway. We don't interact with. I have never interacted with the actual world outside of the game that we're playing in.
Yes.
And it doesn't really have much to do with the world. It has a very specific part of
Yeah.
the Earth realm.
Just
I
one
don't know,
section.
whatever it
Yeah.
is. So then to kind of go into this and with our limited knowledge, know stuff was quite cool.
It was so cool.
I felt like the coolest part about it, I think, is that when you watch a normal movie, when someone fails, it's because they failed, and when someone succeeds, it's because they did a good job. When you're watching a D&D movie or something that uses D&D mechanics, it's like they failed that because they rolled a bad dice.
It was a bad roll.
It was like, oh, that was a bad roll.
Yeah,
and it was like, it's very clear to see. And it's
and
like
it's cute to see
an
that.
extra layer to kind of, for me as someone who I don't feel the best with D&D, can be like, oh, I do know stuff.
I know exactly how that feels. Yeah.
It was like, oh, that guy's melting and that illusion is melting because he rolled bad.
Yeah.
And it's not like is that because of? It's very obvious.
Yeah.
It's not a.
And I like that, I like that it's not just, for the story, it has to, something bad has to happen. Like, it can't all go perfect. But obviously, because of the mechanics of D&D and that every decision you make, anything that you do that has consequences, you have to roll for. It's just cool how they integrated that.
Exactly.
So a few things, you probably already know some of this, but I'm just gonna rattle off some things that I thought is cool about the making of this movie. First of all, before they started filming, I think like you know how a lot of movies you see behind the scenes videos of them doing table reads and they're all sitting together and they're like reading the script and stuff. They did that, but instead, I think they did that, but also they did a campaign where they all played their characters as D&D characters.
But in like a different
and
scenario.
they played a D&D campaign, and their DM was someone from the publishing company that like actually own
the rights
to D&D.
So not only an enthusiast, but someone who literally creates
world. They create the world. And I just love that the actors aren't just like, oh yeah, I'm going to play this fantasy character and it's kind of connected to a game. It's like they're all like, they can see how it connects to a game. So I don't know if any of them are D&D nerds or players before this, but I just love that at the very least they got to experience it. What's his name? The guy from Bridgerton? Bridgerton?
I don't know his name.
So him, turns out he's like been into D&D for ages, and I've seen only snippets, like not because I've sought after it, but he's talked about like, D&D has like made an impact into storytelling and even movies in general and blah blah blah. The other thing is, I saw this video of someone a TikTok video of someone doing counting 1 to 6
Yes, I
during
was
the
going to bring this up.
Go tell me.
No, no, no. That,
So
that
cute.
I was just gonna say it's so for people that don't know, when you do combat, when you do a fight in D&D, although everyone's taking turns, might take you 15 minutes, might take you 20 minutes to get through everyone in the table, go around everybody. It only in world in the game is 6 seconds.
Yeah, each round
And
is 6 seconds.
someone was doing did a video on TikTok where they counted the seconds and how many rounds they did in a section of combat. And it was really cool because I think I knew in the back of my head, I'm like, they wouldn't not do that. But to actually see that you can count it. And also, if you watch closely, you can see the turns starting for each person.
Yeah.
Although they overlap each other.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
That's where I'm like, it's like you can see that. But this one's still going. But you can see it start at those different times.
The thing is that in that round of combat, like, I feel like everyone has the same. It's all happening within the same 6 seconds, right? This is probably a little bit meta. So even though everyone takes turns, it's kind of like you take your turn and then rewind. Yeah. It's all happening on top of each other. I don't think it's verified that because people in the comments were like, someone said, "Oh my gosh, they're also going in turn order." But then someone said, "Oh, it's actually too fast to verify, but it looks pretty close." Like, and it's awesome.
But that's what I mean. I feel like that was the intention.
Yeah.
It feels like it, regardless. Like that's where I feel
you can see that everyone has a hit instead of like someone disappearing from the fight for ages.
Yeah, and it feels like everything felt like you can feel the reactions and you can feel what is it like uncanny dodge and stuff like that happening. Yeah, I think even going back to what you're saying about the playing of the party, the actors playing the characters in a different thing.
Yeah.
The lady that plays the barbarian, she was like, I wanted to be a druid. Like I was like, that's like, I thought it was so cool and and then I got to play as my character as a barbarian and I was like, yeah, I'm a barbarian. She was like, I really wish I was something else, but I'm a barbarian.
That's so cute because...
So they like casted well, was what she was saying.
Yeah,
she was like, they didn't cast for what I wanted. They casted for what I am.
Yeah.
And it was like, and then it was interesting to see kind of all the other people, and like some of them had played D&D before. The girl that plays the druid, she was talking about her D&D campaign that she played in.
And I love that they kind of there was an interview where they mentioned the D&D like shows that you and I watch, and I was like, yes, we're all fans of the same thing, and it's so cute.
And that like it's cool that I think it's funny because when you watch a movie that's adapted from a book and the person's like, oh no, I've never read the book, it's always a little bit like, that sucks.
Yeah,
it's like, I wish you'd read the book. I understand that there's so many books out there that you probably couldn't have just read the book on a whim and then got cast in it, but it was cool that D&D is not really something that you have to learn all of it for. Like playing a campaign is enough to understand the world. Jumping into something like Dimension 20 or Critical Role is, even though they don't play in the D&D universe, it's still like you can learn a lot from those things to kind of like, even just how they play. I thought there was so many interesting little things like spells that I knew and I could tell what they were. And also to kind of see, so we met a character that they reference in the movie. He's a wizard, and his spell was the door. Anyway, that was just great to be like.
No, we didn't meet him. It was his name was mentioned.
No, we met him. He's the wizard.
Which one?
What's his name?
Mordenkainen.
Yeah.
Where was he?
Mordenkainen's door.
Which one is the wizard?
No, so the red wizard in the movie, the door spell that she has over the loot is Mordenkainen's secret door. Or whatever it is.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. You're saying that in our campaign we meet him.
We met the guy whose spell was in the movie.
Yeah, okay. Sorry. Sorry.
I realized, now I just realized how I said it the first time.
It sounded like Mordenkainen was in the movie.
No. Yeah. That was just cool. I hope they continue to do the franchise and do it with different
It would be cute if it was
groups.
different actors, yeah.
I mean, I would love to see that cast again because I think they were so good, and I would love to see how their story progresses. But I think it would be cool for it to follow somebody else, and maybe they come on and join up or something. Yeah, I don't think they will do that. I feel like they will just
stick with the same
stick
people.
with the same people because they made the money. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
to ditch the people that made you the money for a new
Well,
group
they could put
be,
other like Vin Diesel is actually a D&D nerd, like D&D Hundy Andy
has
nerd.
Hundy Andy.
And then my other favorite is like I can't explain this. I can't put it to words, and I don't know if other people can super relate to this. But like every now and then, I will get like basically the equivalent of food craving, but to movies or something I want to
Right.
watch. So sometimes I'm like, okay, I really feel like sci-fi. Or my thing that's most consistent is I'm like, I want to watch like a Tom Cruise movie.
That is such a weird thing for me because like I look at you and that would be something I would think you would actively hate.
Yeah, but then like, man,
Like I know you
actually,
love John Wick.
love John. I love
I've
John
tried to watch the first movie so
But it's
many
like every now
times.
and then, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna look for a movie. Sometimes I'm like, okay, what movie do I want to watch? I'm like, sometimes it's like rom com, but more than likely, if I can't decide, I'm like,
It's like
okay,
action, classic action.
like something like thriller with like high stakes.
Mm.
I never would have if you asked me like, oh, what's your favorite genre? I wouldn't straight up say, oh, like action and like high stakes action. But I'm like, it's actually the one that I keep going back to. So like probably like maybe once
Is
a
it because
year.
it's like mind nummy?
No, I'm actually like
Invested.
I love it. Like I
That's
love.
worse.
I
No,
know
just
it's so
kidding.
funny, but it's not all the time. It's like
No,
every
no, it's
now
like-
and
is
then.
that
I'm
like
okay, let's watch a movie.
Impulse, like I have to do this.
Yeah, I'm like, let's watch.
I mean, I
Mission
like
Impossible.
I like Mission Impossibles.
Yeah, or Mission Impossibles. Oh, the movie, the multiple movies. Sorry, I thought you meant Mission Impossibles 1.
Like the title is
Yeah.
Impossibles.
Mission Impossibles 3. No, and then what's the other one that he's in? The one that they turned into a TV show? No. Mitch. Anyway, there's another one where he's like a secret agent, and everyone was like, "Why is Tom Cruise in that movie? He's too short." The whole thing about him is he's supposed to be like
Yeah.
really imposing.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about,
Yeah,
but I
yeah,
can't
yeah.
think of what it is.
Yeah, so that one, sometimes I like watching that one, and probably one that's kind of consistent where I'm like, yeah, I could rewatch this again is like, is it Day After Tomorrow? Day After Tomorrow.
That's one movie.
No, it's the movie with Emily Blunt where it's like a time travel
Oh
movie.
yeah.
Oh my God, I
no,
love that movie so much.
is amazing.
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
just because of Emily Blunt.
So I'll watch that movie and I'll be like, I need to watch another Tom Cruise movie. Sorry, anyway, so sometimes I'll get movie food cravings, okay? And there's a specific kind of type of movie food craving I get, and I'm like, I don't know what movie to watch to fulfill it.
Yeah.
But it's like something about like 90s sort of nostalgia. Like, but it's something about the story and the way.
90s?
Yeah, there's something like
Like what?
so my the main thing that my brain goes to is like Jumanji, like the 90s Jumanji, where
Yeah,
it's
okay.
like it's kind of like it's a little bit scary,
It was so camp
and and so camp, and like
because there's like puppets for
obviously it's like,
everything.
in some ways
practical.
it's high production quality because there's a lot of special effects, but it's also kind of like and I can't super put a finger on it. I think that it has to do with like sort of the vibe and like the way that the cinematography is, where it's like, like the movies right now is like high contrast. There's a lot of like dark shadows.
There's that
but like in the
era-
90s, it's all really like there's hardly any shadows of these specific
Everything
movies.
feels like it's kind of the end of the 80s that I'm more thinking of, but it's going into the 90s is that foggy texture that's on
almost like
all those
foggy.
fantasy movies.
Yeah.
And it
sometimes-
slowly leaves into the 2000s and it gets that weird gritty
Yeah,
Y2K
yeah,
vibe.
yeah.
But there's at the start of it there's that foggy like one of
almost dreamy, right?
dreamy like
Yeah.
everything's dreamy. I reckon it's a practical thing to cover up the because I
The
can think of
special effects.
one of the things I always come back to is a series called The Dark Crystal, which was so good.
With the puppets.
With the puppets.
Oh, yeah.
And both the original
Yep.
series and the
Yep.
and movie and the new series on Netflix.
Yeah.
But there's that fog, cloudy thing that
Yeah, yeah,
happens.
yeah, yeah. Well,
What's the
it's
other one?
probably,
Never Ending
something-
Story.
It's something to
and
do
all
with
those
the
other
film
ones?
as well. With the
I
film.
think so. But I also think it's that era of like practical effects, everyone knew that it was like just not there. Like it was close, but it
there-
wasn't there. And
yeah.
I feel like it's like
I would say it was there. It's just different from the way it is now.
yeah. And I think what I love going back to D&D movie, practical effects.
That's what I'm
The
getting to.
Oh right, I didn't know that's where you were
This
going.
is the whole point.
It's so freaking
Is
good.
like this food craving, movie craving that I have. I'm like, oh my gosh, I never expected, but D&D hits that.
Yeah.
But it's like modern. It's not because it's like I don't know what 90s movie to watch. Like maybe if I think about it, it would be like Jumanji, maybe like the Casper movies.
Yep.
You know, it's like
I know that you
you
love
know
those.
what I mean? It's like there's some sort of gritty. There's like a haunted house element. There's like some ghosties and kids.
It's always that's a
it's
weird
something
era of like
playful.
there is this weird dark element to all films
Yeah.
in the 80s
Yeah.
and the 90s.
Yeah.
Like even E.T. is like got that kind of it's
Yeah,
just like
there's
that
something-
little like
it's actually like man,
it feels a little bit weird. Like
it's
this
actually a
feels
little bit
twisted for for no reason. Like this should not be played to
yeah,
children.
yeah.
And I
So
find it
then-
funny now too that like movies are being criticized for not being child friendly. When I look at the 80s and I'm like, that was a scary movie
So
now.
scary. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like
yeah. They
you
would
don't
put
that's
warnings.
for adults.
Yeah.
Even though it's like pitched at kids in the
Yeah.
like in the 90s.
And that's why all of that to say, I love the D&D movie because there's so many practical elements and it's like we just embrace
Is it
it.
Disney or Warner Brothers?
Oh, I don't actually know.
Yeah, I think I love the practical effects. I think it is a smart move going forward. I think the mixture of the two, because they did both in the film, but anything you stayed on for a long period of time, you kind of was practical.
Mm-hmm.
I just think there is a place for practical effects, and because this movie, oh yuck,
And the technologies are better now.
exactly, and I feel like with this movie, it's a comedy as well. Like it's not so serious that it takes you out of the world. Just kick up on my
You
own
okay?
life. Yeah, a great movie. 10 out of 10. Would
Super,
recommend.
super
So
enjoyable.
good. So my sister came and watched it with us.
Oh yes,
She
yes.
said I loved it. She was so worried when going to the movie that she wouldn't understand anything. She was like, "You have to tell me about the dice." And I was like, "What?" And I was like,
Oh,
"What
cutie.
dice?" And she was like, "The dice in the movie." I'm like, "There's not going to be any dice in the movie." And she goes, "But that's part of D&D." And I was like, "No, they're not playing D&D. They are the D&D." Oh, she said she loved it, even though although she didn't have any prior attachment to understand.
Yeah.
My parents watched it last night.
I feel like it's
At
just a
home?
good movie going experience.
I think it is. I think it's the new franchise that's gonna stick around for a while, but actually be okay. Speaking of franchises,
No.
how weird is freaking
Fast and the Furious.
No, I don't even
Oh,
want to talk about that.
Okay.
That's almost over. How weird is the Harry Potter
Oh, I don't want to talk
series
about
coming
it.
back? I don't really want to talk about it. I just want to talk about it. I'm actively against it. I want literally nothing to do with it. But if we had to do something, give me something else. The
Yeah.
Marauders, please.
Yeah. It's like there's so many potential. Someone said the Marauders, the founders, and what their life was like. Even a Snape movie, even though
Yeah.
he was problematic. But like,
But everyone's problematic.
yeah, I
It was
think
written by
it's
J.K.
because
Rowling.
I think what people are saying is that J.K. Rowling has a very strong hold on her IP that and combined with Warner Brothers being like there's this IP that has so much potential and obviously we want to make money off of it. Let's make something, and she's like, it has to be Harry Potter, and it's like no one. And they keep making stuff that no one wants. Like even the
But it's like not even a new perspective of Harry Potter.
No, it's just a
I would
remake.
even understand if it was new music, new visuals, new logo. But it's exactly the same thing retold.
Exactly.
And I understand that. I understand there's people that are like, the books, they weren't done justice in the movies.
no.
because you can't."
No. I don't think it's from a demand from people.
Oh no, not a demand from people. I'm saying there's people
think
that
it's
are
just straight up J.K.
excited
Rowling.
because there's elements that didn't get to be played out because movies, so TV series makes sense. But I'm like, but I need to think. This is my opinion. Things need to die before they can be revived. So don't revive things that haven't even gone to bed yet.
Yeah.
Like I'm like I just the movies are still in the current consciousness
Like it's still
of the world.
yeah.
So I don't understand why you would revive. Like it's like Riverdale ends soon. Thank the Lord.
I don't even
I'm not
know
watching
what
it,
that
but I'm just saying it ends soon. Thank you. But they're going to bring it back. There is no way they're losing that money. They're going to bring off a spin-off series in a year.
Okay, yeah.
I'm betting on it.
yeah,
This is
I
going to
agree.
happen. It's disgusting.
It would be
Anyway,
the kind of thing they would do.
in other movie conversations, Dune trailer. Have we watched the new Dune trailer? Came out
Oh, Dune.
It's so freaking good.
Oh my gosh, I haven't watched it.
It's going to be
I
so
just saw
good.
snippets and
They
thingy's
bring
gonna
out
be in it.
Yeah, Austin Butler.
Oh,
Florence Pugh. Austin Butler's in it.
Austin Butler is cancelled in my mind.
I know.
Just in my mind, not as a person.
No, but it's kind of wild, but I think he's going to kill it. I think this is going to
That's
cement
cool.
him as an actor.
Do you think
rather
he's gonna
than-
have a Sandy accent when he comes out of it?
No, I don't think he's going to talk very much.
Oh, okay.
Like, I don't think he's going to talk.
Did
I
you
think
see
the
that-
character's very whispery.
Oh, okay.
Like a...
Oh my gosh, and he's gonna come out and that's his voice gonna be. It's not gonna be like, hey, little mama.
Yeah, he's not going to speak like Elvis anymore. He only whispers in interviews.
Did you see that Vanessa Hudgens is engaged?
No.
She's engaged.
Did you see she went to the Met? What is that woman doing?
Did
Why
you
is
know
she
that
invited
she's,
to the Met?
Did you know that she's the international ambassador for tourism in the
The
Philippines?
Philippines.
We're not gonna talk about that.
That's
so
wild.
like, I wish her well in so many things, but I'm like,
Wait, can we talk about one random thing? The guy, Jenny Ortega, I think that's his name, who did the High School Musical movies, has...
Jenny Ortega
I'm pretty sure that's his
is
name.
Wednesday.
No, that's not her name.
Jenna Ortega.
Jenny Ortega.
Are you sure it's not Ken?
Wait, I need to...
Are you sure it's not
I
Kenny?
Need to, I need to...
I think
look
it's
at this.
Kenny Ortega.
It's Kenny. Hey, I was close. Jenny and Kenny. Okay, so Jenny Ortega. One thing I found...
Jenny Ortega. Okay, what?
Kenny Ortega.
Yeah.
When they did the High School Musical movies,
Yes.
the main character, I believe the main character is
Danielle. Gabriella.
Gabriella
Ortega.
Gabriella Ortega. No, so she's central character in that story. She is Filipino.
No, she doesn't talk. She doesn't say.
What is
Hers is purposefully vague.
so vague, but she's not white, right?
Yeah.
And then what I'm really saying is all of his main things that he's created are led by women. Awesome, love that.
Okay.
Young girls, and also have a central person of color in their storylines, and all of them are. Now that I know that she's probably Filipino, I thought she was Latino.
I think that's what she was kind of like going for because
I'm a Latino.
back then it wasn't like cool to be Filipino in Hollywood.
Right.
I mean, yeah.
So
everything
anyway,
needs
because-
representation, but
Because Jenny and the Phantom. I'm just really just. I can't even remember what her name is.
Jenny Ortega and the Phantoms.
Something in the Phantoms.
Yeah.
Why can't I remember the name?
It's fine.
Anyway, great TV show he made for Netflix.
Yeah.
Got cancelled after one season, sad. But anyway, he led that, and that also had, I don't know what her
Strong
nationality
female
is.
lead.
Strong female lead.
Love
I
it.
think she's Dominican. But it's just like, that's a really interesting thing for a white man to do with his like
And it's
Disney.
really considerate, like really
Yeah.
intentional about it.
Really
That's cool.
intentional, and I also like. I think that Gabriella is the main character of that movie. I don't think it is
Troy.
Troy,
I don't think
but
it's Troy.
people think it's double led. I don't agree with that.
Yeah,
I think it is
probably.
her story. I think it continues on to be his story in the third movie.
Yeah.
High School Musical is a great franchise. I was not allowed to watch it for years because my mum thought it was like Grease. Another one
Yes.
is the Hunger Games prequel.
Oh
What's
my
it called?
gosh. The
A Song of Sorrows and Snakes.
The Song of Snakes and
Ladders.
that's it.
I'm excited about it.
It looks so good.
Okay, I don't have massive attachments to Hunger Games. I'll be very clear about that. In that I grew up when the books were a massive thing, but because of my dyslexia, didn't read them. Didn't really care to be honest, because I was scared. Because there was a lot of books, and my best friend
3.
loved the movies. Sorry, no, loved the books and was so excited about the movies. Except she was part of that group that was like, I'm really annoyed that she's not really, really skinny. Because you know how in the books they're supposed to be like malnourished?
Yeah.
But then, what's her name decided I'm not
They
gonna do
also
that.
none of them look like they're 15.
Yeah, they all look like adults. I'm glad that this looks a little bit more teenage adjusted.
Yeah, because this is 50 years before whatever it
Mm.
is, so it's like the games are still kind of getting developed. Okay, go continue.
I just, my flatmate has ordered the book, so I will be reading the prequel
Oh, nice.
prior to the movie. I'm excited about it because there are some very small decisions that have made me, as someone that is not a Hunger Games fan, but not a stan, be like, okay, I feel like they're going to do a good
You
job.
said Hunger Games Stan, but not a fan.
Fan,
but not a stan. You said
That's what I'm
that,
saying.
but then you said stand as well. Anyway, continue.
There's a couple things. I get annoyed with future things not having good fashion. I really, really, really adamantly hate it when a fashion choice is made that feels current. And I'm like, but this is supposed to be set 1,000 years in the future, and you're telling me they're wearing the exact same clothes as Joe Blogs down the road? No.
Well, probably because everything cycles back.
No, because that doesn't make any sense. Everything cycles back with a difference. And you're telling me thousands of years in the future they're wearing the exact... Anyway, like you're telling me they're wearing leather? Surely cows are all dead. Anyways,
Okay.
so what I'm saying is there is this like suit that they all wear that's red, and I think they wear a blue top underneath, blue dress shirt. Everybody wears the same thing, but it has a red skirt over top of long pants. And it is such a vibe, but also like, yeah, it's a little bit gender bendy. Of course, the future
Gendy
would be
bendy?
gendy bendy, gendy nooch. And I love it because it works so well. It feels futuristic while also kind of making a statement about what the world is.
Yeah.
And how they've given it like a 40s spin, but futuristic 40s. And I'm like, of course. Yep, exactly what should be happening
should
in this era.
Yeah. It's so
And the
good.
simplicity while also still having the scale. Like there is obviously, you can see that there has been a progression to the current games and the original films where the technology has increased.
Yeah,
but there's still an amount of futurism that feels right for it to still feel like it's futuristic, but enough nostalgic and vintage representation to make it feel old enough for us
Yeah,
as
it
people
still
that don't
makes sense
know.
to us. Yeah.
So that's where I'm like, I'm down. The fact that I accidentally started watching a breakdown video, and then the guy halfway through goes, yeah, and this maybe it could be included as spoilers because I'm definitely taking this all from the book. And I was like, halfway through? Anyway, he said a thing about how, so Tigress from the original movies, the lady with all the tattoos, is played by Hunter Schafer in the original series, who is the cousin of Snow.
Okay.
So we know that from the original movies. If you don't know that, what are you doing? Anyway, so she's in this series, and some of the fashion is made by him because he's actually poor.
Oh, yeah.
So she's like his stylist, I guess.
Yeah.
But because she's trying to make him look presentable with what they have. So if that was just a little nugget that I saw, and I was like, yeah. Great. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Do you have thoughts?
I love it. My only thoughts is I saw the trailer. Sorry that I said my only thoughts. Annoying.
My only thoughts is 1,000 thoughts.
Is 1,000 thoughts. Saw the trailer. I was like, oh my gosh, did I forget how cool this franchise was?
I think
Like, I
because
was
it
like-
became so popular, maybe
but
it kind of
when
like,
you watch the trailer, it's like, oh my gosh,
Holy
it's
crap.
like this is such a
Amazing.
cool world. And how have I not been like obsessed over it this whole time? So then I was like, okay, I'm like, I think I misunderstood the book that came out. I thought it was just like it was a one small side story.
it's chunky.
But it's actually like his whole thing.
Yeah.
So what I did was I went to Wikipedia and read the whole
Not me
plot.
thinking that was a TV show.
Oh.
Fully thought it was a TV show.
Oh, yeah. Instead of a movie.
And I thought it was an HBO TV show.
Yeah.
And then
That
someone
would've
was
been
like,
cute.
and then my flatmate was like, no, it's a movie, girl.
movie.
Like, what are you doing?
So I went to Wikipedia and read the whole plot. Because I was like, what did I miss out on? And then
Why wouldn't you just read the book?
Yeah, I'm going to read the book.
No, you just read the book.
Yeah. On Wikipedia.
Jay does this, everybody. Jay does this
I do this.
all the time where she'll be like, I don't know. I just got nervous, so I read everything about it.
I read the
I'm like,
Wikipedia.
you're currently watching the TV show. Just watch the show.
And sometimes I do care about spoilers as well. So then I was like, wait, that's confusing. What does that mean? So then I went and read the Wikipedia for the other Hunger Games books.
Right.
And so just to kind of get myself back in the world. And I was like, okay, cool. This was gritty. This is wild. Maybe I'll watch the movies again.
I wonder if, speaking of reboots, if they will reboot the original series.
Oh,
Now
I
that
hope
we
not.
have, I don't think they should. I think they should just continue to fill that gap. Like do winners of other games or something
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
that.
Like do a
I would
spin-off.
love background content rather than front stage content. Like I would love to know people that worked on the games from like, I don't know, like a behind the scenes perspective
Yeah,
of
yeah,
like
yeah,
I thought that would be really great PR, I don't know if that's the right word. Like in their campaign leading up to the movie, having
Oh,
like,
yeah.
hey guys, we're going backstage at the Hunger Games. 20
All
the
the
10th Hunger
tributes.
Games. So this is where we
you-
have
are you
all the
excited to be a
designers.
tribute this year?
Yeah, yeah. Are you excited to be a tribute? Yeah. Da, da, da. But even just like thinking, they're like, this is the designers corner. They just sit here and they do all this stuff.
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
the editors are over here. They're doing social media. They're just like, I thought that would be like a funny little kick. I doubt they'll do that because it feels too serious. I'm excited. I'm
excited.
impressed. I can't wait to see how this goes.
When does it come out?
No idea.
Okay, great.
I think later this year.
Yeah,
I don't know how I swear I saw it. They were doing a series.
Yeah,
I'm kind of a little bit gutted because I feel like it would work as a series.
but also I appreciate
But movies. Come
Yeah,
on, let's
yeah.
do movies like that again. It's
that
so
are
sad.
actually good.
So,
So-
in my journey into the AI space, I'm sure everybody has heard about this thing called ChatGPT. So I've come up with a section called ChatGPT versus Jay Lee. Now, what I've done is Jay is maybe
Oh no,
my favorite writer
I'm nervous about these.
in the world. Just because I know her. It's the only reason. So what I've done is I've come up with a fake title for a property. Could be a book, could be a movie, whatever Jay wants it to be.
Okay.
And then I've asked the same questions to ChatGPT. Now we're going to see who has the best story out of the two of us. It is up to the audience and what
judge.
you think. Now I'm going to do bullet points because otherwise it's going to be too long. So here we go. Now I've also put what I thought it would be, but I'll tell you that in between ChatGPT's version and Jay's version. So here's the title of the movie.
Okay.
Do you want to give
What
me
do I have to do?
I'm going to give you the title and then you're going to give me what you think the story could be.
Okay, cool.
You can tell me if you think it should be
I
a
feel
book.
like we just have to say the ChatGPT is gonna win this.
No,
continue.
because the thing is, although ChatGPT can spit things out fast, I don't know if they're always the most creative options
Okay.
because it doesn't understand the human experience. But
Okay,
we will
okay.
see. So I have come up with a title called Fake Bodies.
Hold on. Did you come up with this title?
I came up with these titles. This is all me. I just thought about them
Okay.
and then we've put them into ChatGPT. Okay?
Okay, cool.
So the title is Fake Bodies, Fake Everything. Do you want me to give you genres? Because I gave ChatGPT genres.
Yeah, give me everything you gave the
Okay,
robot.
so the first question I gave is give me an elevator pitch for a social media inspired TV series called Fake Bodies, Fake Everything. It's a teen horror murder mystery that plays out across TikTok and Instagram.
Did you say this?
This is what I wrote, yes. Everything is fake until it starts to become very real.
Oh wow.
That is my question.
Okay.
Now go to you. It doesn't also have to be a series for you. You can
Yeah.
make it a book, whatever you want.
Okay, fake bodies, fake everything. First thing
Just the
I'm
elevator
thinking
pitch.
about is it's like frick, I can't remember that movie. It's like sorry.
It's okay.
Teens
Mm-hmm.
go viral on social media capturing this like game that they're playing. Did you say it's a reality TV show? Oh no,
No,
it's
no,
just
no.
a movie that okay. So teens are on social media and then they go viral for a game that they come up with. And
Cool.
then maybe in one of the lives something bad happens and then they continue on with their lives like everything's normal.
Yeah.
And then people that saw the viral videos like what happened. And then one random twist is that some of the people are not actually real people. That it's all
It's fake
pre-made.
things.
It's all fake. But there's something in the thing that happened that is like, wait, but that can't be fake. So
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
Obviously,
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
have enough brain and time to come up with better twist. But it's like
That's where the title comes into play. Fake
yeah,
bodies,
yeah,
fake everything.
yeah, and it's like maybe something that happened in the live was freaky,
Mm-hmm.
and then that's part of why they went viral again.
Mm-hmm.
And then someone looked into it, and it's like, wait, it was alive, but maybe the bad thing that happened, it looks like the person kind of floats. So there's like some artifact of special effects in
Yeah,
it.
yeah, cool.
Sorry, it's not an elevator pitch, but
No, it's good. It's good.
kids
It's good.
go viral on social media, and then
Something
it's real,
happens.
but then it's fake.
Okay.
Dang it.
So I'm going to quickly race through the elevator pitch for this one. So I asked ChatGPT, give me an elevator pitch for this teen horror movie called Fake Bodies, Fake Everything. They said, sure, here's an elevator pitch for Fake Bodies, Fake Everything. Imagine a world where everything is fake, from your appearance to your online persona. Welcome to Fake Bodies, Fake Everything, the teen horror murder mystery that blurs the lines between social media and reality. Following our cast of characters as they navigate the glittery and dangerous world of TikTok and Instagram, where likes and followers can mean life or death. I was like, oh, okay. But when a string of murders rocks their community, they quickly realize that the danger is all too real. Watch as the facade of fake bodies and fake everything begins to crack, revealing a dark, twisted reality lurking beneath the surface. Will our characters survive long enough to uncover the truth? Find out in Fake Bodies, Fake Everything. So that was...
Do you like my one better?
I like your one better. I think the elevator pitch was succinct, but
Yeah.
I like the idea better because it's also what I was thinking, like more AI-centered. Interesting thing is,
It sounds like their one's kind of like The
AI
Matrix.
very rarely talks about itself. So the last thing I asked it, which I didn't ask you, was could you give me an idea of the specific way the murders might be committed? Like, what's the killer's trademark? Sure. Here are a few potential ways the murders might be committed. Sorry,
my God.
dyslexia reading. Strangling with a phone charger cord.
Everything's related to social media.
Yeah, it is. The killer always leaves the charger cord wrapped tightly around the victim's neck. Stabbed with a shattered selfie stick.
That's amazing.
Poisoned energy drink. I was like, okay. Suffocated with a silicone face mask. Electrocuted with a faulty phone charger. So they also described those other ones, but let's move on to the next prompt. Okay, so this one is called Never Really Sometimes. Do you want me to give you the genres, or do you just want to go free? Okay.
So then I know
What they've been asked. But the last one, I'm not going to ask you that because I want you to like see how far you can go. Can you give me an elevator pitch for a cute but emotional, slightly awkward but very charming romance drama with a dash of mystery and a tiny sci-fi mystery and a tiny sci-fi fantasy? I think a tiny bit of sci-fi fantasy is what I meant to write. The title is Never Really Sometimes. Now, I'm trying to get a specific response, so that's why I wrote sci-fi and fantasy. So that's why, what do you think? Never Really Sometimes is the title of the property.
Okay. So it has to do with time travel.
Yep, okay. We're exactly on the same wavelength as what I was thinking. There's a specific movie that I'm thinking of.
So I think, did you say horror? Did you say?
No, I didn't say. I said an emotional but slightly awkward, very charming romance drama with mystery, sci-fi fantasy, which
So
was the
way
time
that
travel element.
Okay, this is how I think about it. Imagine Love Actually meets In Time.
Yep. In Time was the one that I was thinking.
There you go.
I was thinking In Time, or there's the other one that that same lady is in.
Yeah. Time Traveler's Wife.
Yeah. I was like,
So Time Traveler's Wife is way more dramatic. So you could say Time Traveler's Wife meets Love.
is this me?
Yeah, meets Love Actually. So it's like different characters. So it's like
Really just putting myself on.
different characters and their different perspectives. And like maybe, so initially we see them as like different characters, and it's like, oh yeah, this guy. So sorry, they're not all connected immediately. We're just watching like slices of life.
Yep.
And then maybe it's like everything's normal, and then one of the characters that we meet can time travel.
Yeah.
Maybe they can control it, maybe they don't. Maybe it's something like In Time where they their dad tells them about, their parent tells them, oh, this has always been in the family. At a certain age, this starts to happen to you, whatever. Okay. And all the other characters that we see, like some, shenanigans happen in their lives and stuff. And then the twist is, this is just some of these people that we're seeing, this character sees at different points in his life. So the characters that we're watching, it's not all in the same time.
Yeah.
Everything is like throughout the different aspects of this character's
Yeah.
time traveler's life.
Yeah. Exactly what I was thinking. Time travel vibes. I asked it a bunch of other questions, but because I asked it an elevator pitch, it kind of gives me what I said.
Like it's kind of like a blurb. And
Well,
it
yeah,
just
it gives
returns.
a blurb of what I said and like version, yeah, like that. So that it's a little bit. Sorry, I asked it for plot points, so I'm not going to ask you that question. What would the byline be? Was the third question
What's
asked.
the title again?
Never really, sometimes.
Never really, sometimes. Okay. Oh, everything that I want to say has those words in the title.
You don't have to come up with it, but if you can't think of anything, it's fine.
Something about like, well, no, it's too cheesy.
No, do it.
Right now, it's like making the most of every moment.
Yeah, cute. Okay, so I'm going to say what I was thinking. Kind of time travel, but I was thinking more dimensions. So the
The
idea...
other one was, but because it's in the title, I wouldn't do this.
Yeah.
But it's like you never know how much time you have.
Yeah, cute.
And so it's like I want like a byline that it's
Now
like,
that's cute. I like that. It's like never
It's
really,
like-
sometimes you never know how much time you have.
yeah, and
I
then
like
it's
that.
like, wait, what? Like, oh, there's a sense of urgency, and then it's like, oh, it's actually time travel.
Yeah. So my thought was that there's kind of like these parallel dimensions next to each other.
Nice.
And it's the same room. And basically, it's these glimpses that start to happen to two different people in these two different universes that are right back to each other. Things like they go to find their pen, but there's a sock that they never knew they had there. And this room is like, so I see it as a film, and they start to kind of like, things start to cross over. It starts off with little things and ends up being big things to the point where they start to see through the cracks, and then they meet each other over these timelines, but they can't talk to each other. And then they have to close these kind of like portals or like cuts in between dimensions. Otherwise, the whole world will collapse because it's getting sucked in on itself. So I wrote some stuff down, but I'm not going to read all of that because there's a lot there. So this is what I asked ChatGPT. Now, one thing to remember is I wrote the word sci-fi, and I don't think they really know the scope of what sci-fi really means. So they're going very literal with my prompt. Never Really Sometimes is a heartwarming love story that follows the journey of two unlikely people who are brought together by fate. Emily, I was like, a name?
Okay.
Emily is a quirky yet endearing woman who has always felt like she doesn't fit in. It's okay. When she meets Ethan, a mysterious and charming stranger, she is immediately drawn to him. As their relationship develops, they discover a deeper
Did
emotional connection.
ChatGPT do aliens?
However, this romance is not without its challenges. Emily is plagued by the unexplainable dreams and visions that seem to hint at a larger mysterious force at work in their lives. As they embark on a journey to unravel the truth behind these strange occurrences, they find themselves confronted by the unexpected obstacles and hidden dangers. With a touch of sci-fi fantasy elements, Never Really Sometimes is a captivating and poignant tale of love, self-discovery, and power of fate. Now, when I asked it, what are some of the plot points? It says, Emily and Ethan chance encounter. They first meet in a coffee shop, and then mysterious dreams happen. They discover the truth. Emily and Ethan embark on a journey to uncover the truth behind Emily's dreams. Along the way, they encounter unexpected obstacles and hidden dangers, but they also learn more about each other and their own strengths and weaknesses. The power of fate, the emotional climax. The emotional climax of the story involves a confrontation with the force behind Emily's dreams, which could be a sci-fi element. Alternatively, it could be a dramatic moment with a realization of Emily and Ethan. Did it change her name? And solidarity with their relationship. I thought it said something about aliens. The story concludes where Emily and Ethan coming to terms with the truth behind Emily's dreams and the role of fate. They decide to embark on their love with each other.
Maybe it was the force behind the dreams made you think it could be aliens.
Oh, no, that's right. So I did two because I did another one where I was more specific. That's right. I didn't add it in here because it was dumb. But I was trying to get the time travel element. That's what I was really trying to get because that's what I was thinking. And it ended up being like the dreams are caused by the fact that he's an alien. And because
Okay,
they're
great.
together, it like triggers her to have dreams and they have to fight aliens or something. That was how it ended. Yeah. The byline they said was love is unpredictable, fate is mysterious, and life is full of surprises.
Oh, okay.
I was
Great.
like, okay. Okay, this is the last one, everybody. We're going to go through this quick. I feel like you'll get what I was going for by just me telling you the title.
Okay.
The title is 80s Junk.
80s.
Junk.
80s junk. Ooh.
I can give you what they said, but up to you.
What they said?
Well, sorry, what I gave, the question that I actually gave.
Yeah, maybe give me like just some. You don't
It's
have
a really,
to read the whole thing.
No,
but-
it's a really short line, so it's the shortest out of all of them. A family Netflix comedy with an early 2000s flair called 80s Junk.
Ooh. It's a TV show. 2000 vibes. When you said 2000s vibes,
No, I didn't say TV show. I just said a family Netflix comedy.
Oh,
so
yeah,
it could be
yeah.
a movie.
you know what it brought me back to is
Come on, get the vibe.
no, it's like Xenon.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Like
I was thinking the movie is 2000s.
yeah, but it's like the 2000s version of like
Of-
a futuristic past.
I love how we're on the same page.
So it's like I don't know if you've seen that Xenon Disney.
It's the one with Kristen Stewart in it, right?
I don't remember if Kristen, but it was so cute. It was like everything was like pink and silver.
I was thinking of the one with Zathura,
Oh,
where they play the board game and they go into
sorry.
space.
Oh yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay.
2000s, but like
Yeah.
does
So I'm like thinking like space vibes, and the aesthetic is okay. No, I've got it's solidifying. So it is. So it's kind of like a wacky family sitcom.
cute.
And it's very typical, like kind of Full House vibe.
Okay.
The house is like that. It's like the front door's always on the left.
Cute.
The kitchen's always on the far side. And
Sets.
it's like, yeah, very like 3-wall set, live audience effect. And it's just shenanigans of the family. It has some quirky, so it's like they just seem like normal families, but then throughout like every episode there's something about their lifestyle, or there's like the main crux of every episode always has to do with the fact that they are actually like living in, it's like a giant ship colony.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's in the future, and they're trying to reestablish. So it's like Earth is gone.
Yeah, I'm loving this. I'm loving this. It's like Wall-E vibes.
Yeah, it's like Wall-E vibes. So like Earth is gone. They're living in a ship now.
Cool.
And so everyone's living in the ship. It's like, oh, I can't believe that. Like, Mom, we're gonna go to Pod 57.
Yeah.
and we're gonna have some
I'm down for
milkshakes,
this. Yeah,
like,
I
whatever.
love that.
And and the thing is that they've actually lost connection and comms with like their main thing.
Love
So
that.
they're sort of just floating in space, and they're
Like
just
they've kind of forgot that they had a mission.
well, they know they have a mission, but they're all their comms and stuff are broken. So they're trying to. So maybe like her dad is a mechanic, and they're like, oh, we're trying to fix. It's like everything's really lighthearted, but really, if you zoom out, it's like there's this giant ship floating in space. There's like thousands of people living in it, and they don't know where their navigations are down.
Yeah.
Like whatever. So they're trying to get to this new planet. They can't get to it, and her dad is like a mechanic. Her brother's like trying to learn how to be a pilot.
Yeah.
And then maybe the mom is like a political figure or,
Yeah, cute.
or
I love
whatever.
that.
Okay. And then the kids are just like shenanigans. And then the other thing is, part of why it's called, did you say 80s junk or junk?
80s junk.
80s junk is like the maybe the show starts in a way where like they found themselves in like a trash field in like so when maybe Earth exploded or something happened when Earth went away, they found themselves in a trash field, and a lot of it is like actually like remnants from the 80s.
Yeah, yeah,
So like
cool.
probably like time capsules and stuff were such a big thing then.
Yeah.
So then they're like capturing all these to try and we need this for we need this to
This
to
for
fix
this.
this machine and whatever. So their
It's
house
like
has
metal in space.
yeah. So then they have a lot of like stuff in. It's normal to be in your house to have like a normal telephone and
Maybe they left Earth in the 80s too, so everything has
Yeah,
like
yeah,
an
yeah.
80s like glow to
Vibe.
it.
Yeah,
But because
yeah.
it's so far away,
Yeah.
they're like in the 2000s
it's like how
now.
the 2000s think the 80s was.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
That's it.
I love
That's
that.
kind of cute.
So what would the twist be? Is a twist, that was what I asked ChatGPT.
Maybe the twist is you don't know this. Sorry, I'm chewing. Hold on.
Chew and think. This is the one thing that's funny about ChatGPT is like, I was like, thinking is half of my process of coming up with an idea. It doesn't think. So that's why it's wild, because the story is not like, oh, well, that's been done before. It's like, no, this is the idea.
Yeah.
You've asked me to give you something.
I
So
understand
it's
you.
like,
Okay, so for me, the twist is that you don't know till the end of the first season
Mm-hmm.
that they're living on a ship.
right. Like, we don't know or they don't know.
We don't know. The audience doesn't know,
And they don't know either.
and maybe they don't know. So
That's actually so cool, because you could set it up inside to literally feel like
it's just like your normal suburb.
like a street. People are driving around.
Yeah. But even as you're watching the show, you're like, man, the streets look so fake.
Yeah.
And it's like, it looks fake because it is fake. It's
Like the walls are actually the sky.
it's like, yeah, it looks like the sky, but then you look up and it's like the sky, the
It's an
clouds are
LED
painted.
screen.
Yeah, or something like that.
Yeah.
And
Oh my gosh, but like using 80s technology, so it's like CRT. Like it's like CRT roofs, and it's like, it's the sky. That's how it looks.
Well,
But everyone
the
else is like,
sun's
why
come
does it
up.
look like that?
Yeah.
I love this.
So-
this is a Black Mirror episode.
This is a Black Mirror episode. So the audience doesn't know until the end that they're actually living in
A ship.
In a ship.
And
Maybe
that's
we
because
show
they're trying
her.
to
She
find-
like maybe it's something like this. It's like every day when she wakes. So every episode we show her looking out the window and then closing, or like when she goes to bed, it always finishes with her like "Good night, mom and dad," and then she like looks out the window and she closes the window. Whatever. So we see this all the time, and then in the
And
final
using
episode,
that 80s like kind of mechanic, that's how every episode finishes.
yeah, and it's always
But then it slowly.
so when
Twists.
she opens the window, we slowly zoom into closer and closer to the window, and then so we go past her shoulder, and then we look at her looking out of the window, and then you zoom out, and she's in space.
Oh my gosh, I just had an idea while you're saying that.
And then the other twist for her in her world, because the twist is for us as viewers, but the twist for her in her world is actually maybe her dad is the one that finds out that
because he's a mechanic.
because he's a mechanic.
And the ship is broken because their controls are broken.
Yeah.
So then he's trying to fix stuff, but then it turns out.
So no, it's not that it's broken the whole time, but the end of the season is when you go, oh no, we're completely lost in space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the series Lost in Space, literally streaming on Netflix right now. No, so when you were saying that, I was like, the episode ends with her looking out the window, right? Mm-hmm. But she's on the second floor. Mm-hmm. So when she looks out, it's always stars. So then one day we realize it's just because it's space.
Yeah.
It's not because she's looking out the window to
Yeah.
the night sky. It's just space.
It's just space. Yeah, exactly.
Like she's like, it's like you never see the ground. Like
Yeah.
you never see the landscape with the thing.
Yeah.
You just always see the stars. But it's because it's 80s.
It's just
It's 80s, so it's like they didn't do the ground
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
Okay, so my thoughts was I asked it one more question, which was the byline, but you don't need that. I feel like we've got a great series. I was thinking a movie. The references I was thinking was Home Alone, Cheaper by the Dozen, Grown Ups, On My Block, which is a Netflix series. So but it's got that kind of Netflix feel rather than kind of feeling like a 2000s movie. The thought I had very quickly, a little bit less sci-fi element, but I loved that way better than my idea, which was like a family, the parents divorce, the dad gets the kids, they move back into his family home. The kids are fighting about who's going to get the big room. One of the girls chucks her bag in the cupboard, and the back of the cupboard falls down and steps go up. And the steps is 80s junk. They didn't know they had uncles and aunties, and they find out that their family is all in this town, And over the course of the movie, it's kind of like the dad finding love again and the family kind of integrating into this thing while also reconnecting with family. And it all ends in a classic Christmas get together with all the family. And after all the fights, it kind of comes together again.
Yeah.
So that was what I was thinking. Very Home Alone-esque, very grown-ups-esque. But JS3 is 10 times better. Now, ChatGPT did a crap job. This was
no.
the worst one out of all of them. I was trying to get something, but it wasn't getting the vibe.
Okay.
I'll go through this quickly. 80s Junk is a family Netflix comedy that takes viewers back to the early 2000s, where we meet a dysfunctional but lovable Johnson family. The Johnsons are obsessed with everything 80s, from the music to the fashion, pop culture references, and they're not so afraid to show it. The family Partridge? You should read this because you'll be able to get through it faster. Patronage. Just.
The family patriarch.
Oh.
Put on my microphone. The family.
Did you say any of your last stuff in the microphone?
I did.
Okay.
The family patriarch, Jack, is a former hair metal guitarist who never quite made it big, but still dreams of reliving his glory days. His wife, Karen, is a stay-at-home mom who secretly yearns for a more exciting life.
I love
Their
Karen as a
three
name.
kids each have their own quirks. The oldest, Tiffany, is a cheerleader who dreams of being a pop star. You know that's funny because I just watched a video essay about mall tours by pop stars, and the first person who started
Wild,
it.
eh?
Yeah, the first person who really started it, her name was Tiffany. She was like
Slay.
basically the first bubblegum
That's where I
pop
got it
star.
from, Wikipedia.
The middle child, Corey, is a tech whiz who can hack anything and everything, and the youngest, Dylan, is a precocious troublemaker who loves to push his siblings' buttons. In each episode, the Johnsons navigate their way through hilarious situations, often involving their obsession with all things 80s. From awkward family dinners to misadventures at the local arcade, the Johnsons always find a way to make us laugh. Along the way, they learn valuable lessons about family, friendship, and the importance of being true to oneself. With a killer soundtrack featuring all the hits of the 80s, 80s Junk is a nostalgia-filled romp that's sure to have audiences of all ages rocking out and laughing along.
I was going to say, I almost interpreted it as punk instead of junk.
Yeah, it's got that vibe.
Like, it's like got punk instead of... Yeah, so anyway, keep
What's
going. Read the
twist?
others.
In the season finale, the Johnsons discover a mysterious time machine, hidden in their basement. Excited at the prospect of traveling back to the 80s, okay, I like that, they embark on a wild adventure through time, visiting some of the most iconic moments of the decade. However, they soon realize that their actions in the past have unexpected consequences on the present, leading to a race against time to set things right before they're stuck in the wrong decade forever. This twist would add an exciting element of time travel and adventure to the show, while also allowing the characters to explore their love for the 80s in a whole new way.
Like, why did it now give me time travel?
Yeah.
I literally spent hours trying to get it to do time travel for the last
other
one,
one.
and it didn't give it to me. And then it randomly was like, yeah, time travel.
Time travel, out of the blue. It could also provide opportunities for fun nods to iconic 80s movies and events, which also exploring the themes of nostalgia and the importance of living in the present.
Yeah.
Cute. Byline.
I do like it, but I wish that it would have incorporated it into the idea before that twist element. Yeah.
What's the byline? Get ready to rock out and laugh with the Johnson family as they navigate the hilarious and nostalgic world of the 80s in this family Netflix comedy. With a killer soundtrack and a wild twist, 80s Junk is the perfect blend of family fun and retro cool.
Again, music element, junk.
I love that.
But I reckon it's interpreting junk as punk.
Yeah.
Because it keeps referencing music, which 80s is very prolific for music.
But I love
it's still...
although like 80s, like probably like looking back at the 80s, those are some of it's like fashion, set music. Like I love the killer soundtrack.
Killer soundtrack.
I love it.
I thought I was interested if I'd asked other questions the plot twist after that last question because it's a killer soundtrack. I was maybe it would make it a murder mystery.
Yeah.
But
So are you proud of me?
I'm so proud of you because number one, you got my vibes.
Yes.
And secondly, because I was
The
a
game
little
should
bit
just
worried
be,
because
what am I talking about in this prompt? And
Yeah,
I just
yeah,
try to
yeah.
guess what you're going for.
because I was like because like the first one, right, is from TikTok. It's people put it as a disclaimer, fake bodies, fake everything, for when there's like murder in a TikTok, so people don't. I think so the algorithm doesn't interpret it as real.
Yeah.
So it's like fake bodies or like fake everything, so people don't confuse it, and
It's
also
like
the
saying allegedly
algorithm
so you
doesn't.
don't get in trouble. Yeah.
Exactly. So for that, I was thinking of a very specific element.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Oh, no. I'm saying I was more disappointed in ChatGPT because you got my vibe.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was my trip into ChatGPT. Hope you liked it.
That was cute. That was fun. I love that.
Yeah.
Now I'm trying to think, what can I do on ChatGPT and quiz you for next
Well,
time?
I'm thinking that we do this because maybe we'll do clips for Instagram.
Yeah.
I was thinking that maybe I go onto Mid-Journey and make posters for our TV series or ChatGPT's options or our ones.
Yeah.
And we just like come up with different versions of what the poster could be.
Yes. So that's it.
Thanks for hanging out with us,
Thanks
guys.
so much for hanging out with us. There was a lot of ranty things, but that was fun.
Yes, I'm excited for your feedback on our films and television shows.
Tell me if you like my ideas or ChatGPT's ideas.
And tell us which one we should make.
Well, we'll see you next time, friends. Be
Thanks for
safe
hanging
and
out.
happy Mother's Day tomorrow.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye. See you next month.
Bye.
Why do we slowly get higher?
I know.